So, some super bad news. I am selling my M235i BMW. But my priorities have changed big time. I now realise that you shouldn't, at the start of your profitable trading journey, you shouldn't be going out buying expensive cars that are expensive to run. And you might say an M235i isn't expensive.
Wrong.
And it's not plausible if you want to scale your accounts, focus on other things as well. And my main focus right now is that I am dropping my hours in my job to where I will be barely working and focusing solely on content creation, teaching how to find out all different things, teach you guys my strategy. And I'm also going to fully be putting all my effort into my routine for currency trading and things like that, because my current routine for currency trading, I get up at 6 a.m. every day, and I have been consistent with that for a year now. The past 5 months I have been consistently profitable, this month being one of my best months in a long time. I've pulled in around 7% on my funded account, close to passing a further 50k evaluation, which I should have by say mid-January. No expectations, no set time frame to when I'll pass it, but as long as I follow my strategy, follow everything to an absolute T, there is no reason why I won't be able to pass this account and go and then scale up to hundreds of thousands of pounds in funding. But that is my goal for next year, as I'm selling my car, downgrading to a Tonka toy.
Hang on, slow down a minute, sorry. Bus wankers!
Something that isn't going to be expensive to run, but will give me more miles and stuff like that as well. I am going to fully focus on scaling my funded accounts. That is one of my main goals for 2026. It's going to be an absolute fucking massive banger of a year. Right now, I am keeping any profits I get with my funded account, not in a position to just withdraw, which I could withdraw, because I'm pretty sure after your first 10% you can scale up to a £105,000 account, I think it is. After there, withdraw, leave a buffer in the account, and then scale up even further. Keep 10%, get to a $200,000 account, and then continue scaling. And that's when I start to withdraw big profits. But like I said, there's nothing stopping me from getting that except from consistency. I've been trading for around 3 to 4 years now. I have went through every strategy, but the one that I'm currently doing right now is solely personal. I never understood what people try to talk about when I first started, that your trading plan should be personal to you. It should be revolved around your personality. I now understand that I have done so many trial and errors to where I have lost personal accounts, funded accounts, didn't know where I was going, what direction, until I started focusing on what works for me. What I found works for me is finding a certain time frame that you can trade around. For me, it's 6 a.m. till 11 a.m. That was one of the biggest things with my trading that allowed me to have a set strategy where I can wake up in the mornings and I can see if I'm going to be in a trade within the first 5 to 10 minutes. And you might think, oh, but that's lazy. Like, no, it's not. It's consistent. You'll see it every single day, and it helps you stay away from the charts, because when you're trading, a lot of things that people don't realise is when they first start to properly trade, don't want to be glued to a chart all day. And the people that say, yeah, you should be glued to a chart, you can trade London to New York session all day, every day, it's a joke.
Ridiculous bullshit!
You should not be doing that, as you're going to get analysis paralysis. You're going to overtrade because you're sat at a chart all day. What you should really focus on with your trading, if you haven't already, is with your data collection, find your exact times that work best for your trade, and all the losing trades, you will figure out what time you don't trade, what time you don't want to enter. You just filter that out and stop trading, and that's how you truly refine your edge. And with content creation as well, I understand I only have around 50 subscribers, but these 50 subscribers mean a lot. These are the first people that are actually watching my content when they don't even need to, and they're subscribing, liking my videos, watching my videos. That's what I enjoy seeing. And I've had people join my Discord, ask questions and stuff like that, and that's what I really want to do. It's not selling a course or anything like that. My Discord, I am offering free help. I am teaching what I have learned over time, and it's something that I really enjoy, and it's something that I'll be able to work on, because teaching will improve your trading as well. Oh fuck, and I'm indicating I'm not even going right. But like, I just want to truly focus on making really good content, not really for anyone, just for myself, to keep me busy. Because obviously when you quit your job, you go full-time trading, You don't want to be relying on trading as a sole income. That is how you lose your accounts. You overtrade, you over risk, because you're dependent on that one income stream. Whether it is multiple funded accounts, your psychology will bust, it will go downhill. So me having this goal with content creation as well, a video every 3 days, that will give me more things to work towards. And as well as that, Muay Thai, MMA, boxing. I recently started Muay Thai the past month and a half, and I absolutely fucking love it. So I'm going to be getting one-to-ones and pushing myself with all different things, pushing myself to the absolute limits mentally with things like trading and discipline, and then learning new skills like Muay Thai. And that's the sort of things you should be doing to keep yourself busy, keep yourself on the ball, because when it comes to trading, that is what you need. That is what you need. You need to keep busy, keep your mind away from solely just the charts. You know, it's crazy. 3 to 4 years. I don't go out drinking, I don't go out weekends, anything like that. I go to the gym, I study, I work, read books. That's me. It has been a long fucking grind to get to where I am, and I am stupidly proud of myself for doing all of that, because not a lot of people have the absolute balls, and it doesn't sound difficult. Oh, you just study, then eventually turn profitable. No, there's so much more to it, like psychological, so much more to trading. And if you are years in the process, or even starting, and you're consistent with it, whether it be in trading or whether it being absolutely anything, well done to you. Well done to you, because it is a difficult journey to do anything with business, because you learn a lot about yourself and put yourself through a lot of mental battles that you wouldn't get in a 9 to 5. Maybe you would with disliking your job, falling out with workmates and things like that. But trading and business is a completely different ballgame. It is completely different. So hats off to absolutely anyone that does that. So if anyone out there is watching this video and you've even got this far to me rambling on, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Please subscribe, like, and I will see you in the trade breakdown. This is the trade breakdown on the 15th of December for a 2R/2% return. We're just going to start on the H4, where I'm just going to break down what I was looking for. And I practically predicted this the day prior as I done my outlook, and it gave me the bullish bias to take out this high, which obviously did occur because a few of you in the Discord already saw that. So if we start from the bottom, we sweep sell side liquidity. This is our current leg, and our most recent break of structure is this break here, as that is the break that caused the displacement higher, as well as this sell side liquidity. So that is my current leg. So I marked the high of the expansion to the low of the liquidity sweep. What I would have ideally preferred is some lower price action. For example, lower, take out this sort of liquidity pool, change character, and then continue higher. But that doesn't, that's like a perfect scenario to where we hit the 50% level of the fib. We don't need to always hit the 50% to be able to get into longs. The only thing we care about is a sell side liquidity sweep. So as we are pulling back, we would need to see a sell side liquidity sweep, which you can see here. It's not the clearest of like wicks, but if we zoom in, price wicks, and it's like a continuation of just wicking, no real candle closures below, which that is considered as a liquidity sweep. And after this final liquidity sweep, we displaced higher with a very large momentum candle, which is a 24 pip bullish move without any sort of retracement, which is great. If we move down to the M15 time frame, this is that expansion that I was talking about. So here we had our break of structure. This break wasn't considered a break until this candle, as that's just a liquidity sweep. We then had displacement above the closed higher, which that was my change of character, we have the sell side liquidity sweep. After here, expansion higher, we are fully bullish at this point. So anything after here, we don't need to wait for another large structural break of structure, as in like this sort of thing, or we don't need to wait for this high to go. All we care about is a sweep of liquidity and our first break of structure. After the first change of character, we can play lower time frame entries and market enter. But if it was a case of, say, you're entering here expecting price to go higher, this is where you would be limit entering. You would take this, or you just say you take a fib from the high of the expansion to the low after the break of structure, you would limit order. So you wouldn't fully market entry on the break of structure because it isn't confirmed. But if you enter a limit, wait for the pullback back down, that confirms that structure is currently holding, and that is what happened here. So just quickly nip to that day again, or sorry, today that we had that trade, and I'll break down what I saw and why I entered. So we had that break of structure, change of character. Asia's session developed in a way that London expanded lower. Once London expands lower, we move down to the M5. Wait for our sell side liquidity sweep of Asia's low. That is one confluence, and all we need to wait for after that is a break of structure, where that is the most recent high. That's not really a liquidity sweep to create a leg. Yes, it broke structure, but no real sweep. Oops, sorry. So I would be taking this high as the valid leg. But if we move on the M15, you don't actually really need to take this on the M5, which I would usually do anyway, but this is more of a larger time frame, like M15. That is an M15 leg. So we have that sell side liquidity sweep. I had my entry from here to the low of the liquidity sweep, targeted the high, and once price, I did market enter, which it doesn't really matter because price should hold this area. So once that high got taken, I market entered, and my entry happened about 390, so that's where it was. So I was still tagged in as soon as that high got swept. Price tagged me in with some sort of slippage to where I got tagged in later. Still covered the low, just expanded my TP a bit higher, so it was still taking a guaranteed 2% because I would not take anything less than 2% because it's negative risk. If you're losing that, you're losing practically 1%. Or sorry, you're trying to gain 1% to just lose 1%, or lose 1% just to gain 1%. It's not worthwhile. So 2R extended, it was only, what's that, about 5 pips above? Not even that, 2 pips above. So it's still valid, as that is our swing high. Waited for price to continue, and price just continued to rally up straight to TP. We had a slight pullback. What could have that been caused by? It could have been caused by this area of liquidity here, but all that does is it's a catalyst for pullback. All that does is sweep liquidity, pulls back, then continues higher. I moved my break even after we had this break of structure. This wasn't a valid break until we had the expansion a bit higher with momentum, as that also swept sell side liquidity. What I had to wait for after that, after this was a further confluence of 20 pips profit. Wait, sorry, I didn't actually need to pull that back up. 20 pips profit, where it was here where I moved break even at 3 p.m. I moved break even, and price just continued higher anyway. So that was the trade, a 2% return, a £1,000 profit. Very good, very nice.